What is the situation in the Indian workplace? What is the journey of the Indian woman professional? Let's take a look at the stories of these three women. Up here is Maya. She's just back after a 6-month, fully paid, government-mandated maternity leave. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, India is among one of the few elite countries around the world that offers a 26-week paid maternity leave. Yes, we do that. She has generous access to daycare, and she is currently working on a certification plan and hoping to helm an upcoming project rollout. But that's not the case with her mother, Anita. Anita's story was a little bit different. When Anita had her 2 children in quick succession, and back then the maternity leave was a stipulated 12 weeks paid leave, the return to work was anything but smooth for Anita. Quality childcare was unheard of, and it did not help that her husband was completely traveling all the time and could not help her with childcare. All of this ensured that Anita chose not to get promoted, and she retained a lower-level clerical job for most of her life. This is Anita's mom, Radha. Radha, 75, is a first-generation graduate, and she had to fight tooth and nail in order to keep her job as a librarian at a local school in the year 1966. But even that was not for long. The patriarchal constructs, the joint family, the proverbial Indian joint family, the lack of opportunities in her small town, all of this ensured that Radha was just a little blip in the space of women's workforce participation. So while Radha had to be really determined in order to even take up a job, Anita had to depend heavily on her family support and make quite a few sacrifices. Maya, the 3rd generation, no doubt has challenges of her own, but she definitely can count on support from the external environment, most importantly, her own employer, in order to add to her ambitions. This, ladies and gentlemen, is among the changes that the Indian landscape is witnessing with respect to women's careers. But don't be under the illusion that every Indian woman professional is as privileged as Maya. We still have tens of thousands of Anitas, Radhas, even today, struggling for support to be economically self-sufficient. And this is where the Working Mother and Avtar, best companies for women in India, actually comes in. Back in the early 2000s, when the company that I founded, Avtar, ventured into diversity and inclusion consulting, it was a relatively kind of nascent space. There was a broad acceptance of the fact that workplaces had to be more gender inclusive, but then the hows and the whats were not clear at all. Over the next 10 years, as we worked in this space, creating many firsts, India's first ever formal flexi-working practice, India's first ever second career re-entry program for women, India's first ever career intentionality program for underprivileged girls, we began observing a gradual increase in the intent of the organization to become gender diverse. Many organizations rolled out programs, but they did not deliver the desired results. You wanted industry-wide information, you wanted access to best practices, employee demographics, standardized recruitment. It was not available. None of this was available in a standardized format, in a repository of data that could be picked up by an organization that had the intent. So, when in 2016, we approached the ever-inspiring, the omni-dynamic Shubha Barry of Working Mother Group to launch the world's most celebrated best company study in India, we knew that this would give the much-needed momentum to corporate India's conviction in gender inclusion.